Schnicked. Let's get into it. We are going to be dealing with Wolverine. Now, some of you saw my Deadpool video. Yes, unfortunately, because the movie isn't out yet on streaming, I am only using the parts from the trailers. There's a lot of them. I think that we can still get into it, but when the movie comes out, maybe I will do a deeper dive into some different areas. You can let me know which ones you want to see. And for all of you comic fans, you can let me know all of the lore and backstory, but I am going to be dealing with the Wolverine from the movie. So let's get into a little bit of the psychology of Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine. And no, I can't do it. It just doesn't even feel natural to me.
In my world, you're well regarded. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. But Wolverine is a hero in my world.
Yeah, well, he ain't in mine.
There's something really difficult about failure, especially when it's something that matters to you. Now, with someone with Wolverine's personality, someone that is already really hard on himself, and to try to do something and give everything that you have and then to fail at it is absolutely devastating. And it's something that's really difficult even for people with more positive outlooks on themselves to be able to recover from. How you decide to deal with that failure can really change your outlook. If you look at it as a challenge, as something that you can grow from, that you can learn from, that makes it easier to be able to get back up and do something differently. This is where your own self-worth, the way that you think of yourself, will make a huge difference. But if you look at yourself as a failure, as you can't do better, as the world is horrible and why should I even bother, that's when you can end up being overwhelmed with anxiety or depression, and that can overtake you. It becomes a dark pit that you get stuck in. In the end, the way that you see the world is the world to you. Everything truly is internal. And that's why it's so vastly important the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at the world.
Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. So did Storm and Beast. But I couldn't have him thinking I wanted to be there. It was too late.
And for people that have more of an avoidant attachment type, being part of a group becomes really difficult. To be able to attach yourself to other people because you're worried. You're worried that they're going to let you down, or even worse, that you'll let them down. And there's different ways that avoidant attachment type can show up. It doesn't mean that they're going to run away from everything, but often what happens is that when their anxiety gets really, really high, that's when they're going to avoid situations. But for everyone, that could be something different. So for some people, it might be confrontation. For Wolverine, he likes confrontation. He likes it almost in a way to be able to push people away, to be able to test people if they're safe, if they'll already leave. Because in his mind, because of everything that he's already been through, everyone does leave, or everyone lets him down, or even worse than that, he lets them down. And that becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy, that devastation, which only increases that feeling of, you know what, I shouldn't have trusted people in the first place.
It's only 9 people, but my entire world is right here in this picture. And I have no idea how to save it alone, but you know how to save it.
Not everyone that has avoidant attachment type is gruff and kind of that lone wolf that is more grim or nihilistic. You can have someone that has an avoidant attachment type and they're very affectionate and seem very friendly and very trusting of people. But when they are stressed, they will want to avoid the area that they are stressed in. In this case, Wolverine has that stereotypical archetype that is often shown in films, but it is not always that way. And for this attachment type, the reason that it is often developed is when you were young, that the people that were caring for you were not there to be able to meet your needs. And it can also happen from being intensely bullied or having people let you down. It ends up making you learn to just depend on yourself, that you're the only one that you can truly trust. But the juxtaposition of this is that often people with this attachment type are also really hoping that they can find someone that they truly can trust, that will be there no matter what. And no matter what means when times are tough. It's really easy to be there for someone else when everything is good. It's when the chips are down, though, that you can really tell someone else's character.
Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
And that's a really cool thing about change. A lot of times people come into therapy in hopes that the therapist is going to tell them something to kind of give them that light bulb to be able to help make them want to change. But often change happens and it feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong. If it felt natural, you'd already be doing it. So a therapist can help guide you in which ways you should change. They can help guide you in how you should change so that you can understand the process. But in the end, it actually happens by doing things differently. Thinking things, talking about things, they're lovely and can be beneficial. But real concrete change happens through doing behaviors, and you do it often enough until it becomes who you are. So if you can remember that every single moment you are retraining your brain to be better at whatever you are doing at every moment. If you want to be able to stop old habits that you don't like, the easy and the hard answer is just do something different. And it will feel wrong, and it will feel horrible, and it will feel painful until it doesn't. That is the cool thing about this movie, that it really is the hero's journey. To me, this is really the hero's journey of Wolverine, to be able to right a wrong, to be able to save something that he couldn't save in his own world. And it makes it so much more poignant for me. One is because he understands those moments of losing those that he loves, and that ability to believe in himself, to be able to move forward when everything tells him, don't bother, it's not going to work out. And I think that the biggest part is that risk to himself, to his ego, that, you know what, he might do this and try everything that he can and fail again. And that is so difficult to be able to move forward when you know you might get crushed. But that is the important thing about changing behavior, is to go in because there's risk, not in spite of it. And that really is the definition of courage, to move forward because you're scared.
I've always wanted to ride with you, Lo. Deadpool and a Wolverine. Can you imagine the fun, the chaos?
You mind putting your mask back on?
Super hard to eat while I'm wearing it.
It's super hard to eat when you're not.
You might think that he's only doing this to keep people away, to be able to push them and test them. But I think that it is also his way of bonding and showing a certain amount of affection. I don't think that affection is actually the right word, but to be able to show that he likes someone enough to be able to tease them and to push them to see how far he can, and if they're able to handle his more cantankerous nature.
Not my problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to
Come again.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
And I think that in this case, for Wolverine, he's so lucky that he gets this second chance to be able to right a wrong, to be able to change the story of who he is. And for a lot of people, they believe that they just are whoever they happen to be, that they can't be able to make changes to be able to make a difference. Now, I'm not going to say that it's easy. It definitely is not. It takes a certain amount of self-awareness, but also it's a really scary thing to be able to look into yourself and mistakes that you've made, to be able to do things differently. And you want to be able to do that really honestly, really directly, to be able to move forward when everything else is telling you to stop. And I think that in this case, I think that the matchup of Deadpool with Wolverine really changes that, because Deadpool just believes in things so very strongly that it's this contagious belief, this contagious positivity that really is hard to be able to avoid, even if sometimes you want to. Even for people that are nihilistic and think that the world is all dark and doom and gloom and try to push everyone away, sometimes you have that person that no matter what is there to be able to inspire and push you forward.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go f yourself.
That's another piece to avoid an attachment type. They do not like to be pried upon or to be judged or to be analyzed. I think that makes them feel uncomfortable because they're already judging themselves. They already don't like themselves, so they definitely don't trust other people enough to be able to share their inner moments. And so you really do want to be very careful if someone with more of an avoidant attachment type is sharing something or letting something in. You want to be able to get their space and try not to ask those what or why or how questions, because even though you may not mean it in a judgmental way, they will often see it that way, because the way that we look at the world is through the facets of our wounds. So you want to be able to just listen and understand and try to say less if you're not sure if what you're going to say is the right thing. And then if they walk away, or in Wolverine's is much more direct way of saying to stop, you need to respect that, because you don't want to force someone into sharing something with you. I think that that's really disrespectful. Even in therapy, I allow people the space to be able to share what they want to and not share things that they're not ready to. That allows people to be able to move at the pace that they feel comfortable with. I think that a lot of times people try to push others because they think that it helps me, so it will help you. But you want to remember that everyone has their own pace, and if you push someone too quickly, they'll actually feel a lot of negative feelings and they won't want to come back or discuss things with you the next time.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
I also think that we end up sometimes putting undue pressure on people, and I think that that's a lot of what Wolverine feels. They're really big shoes. Even the word hero are really big shoes to be able to fill. People that lean towards perfectionism and fear of failure, but you can do all of these things, but you're so good at this, that actually increases the pressure, makes them feel even worse, because then if they fail, if they're this great and they can do all of these things and they fail, then it means that they're even worse than what they thought that they were. If you're dealing with someone around you, or even one of your children that has fear of failure and is perfectionistic, you actually want to lower the bar. Say, you know what, just try, don't worry about it, because inside of their head, they're already putting a lot of undue pressure. So sometimes when we're trying to build someone up by saying, you're so great, this is going to be so easy for you, it actually does the inverse effect. So you want to be really careful for that. So even though I think that Deadpool is trying to inspire Wolverine, I think that it's making him feel even more pressure that he has to do this, and he's already failed once. And that's really scary, even for Wolverine.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's go.
Let's go.
And I think that that is the other cool part. I think that for people that lean towards being more nihilistic and avoidant, to have that person that is there to cheer you on no matter what happens, that are going to enjoy it, that are going to inspire you, and they're going to appreciate it even if you failed, they're going to notice the things that you did well. You'll often have that voice of being like, please, you just say nice things about everything, but it can also inspire you to keep on going when you want to shut down. And the coolest part for me to this movie is when you can tell that Wolverine truly believes. Not only believes, but is using a line from someone else, which is something that he absolutely does not do.
Let's fucking go.
So that's a little bit of my thoughts on Wolverine and avoidant attachment. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to increase your inner confidence and get closer to your goals by expanding your mind and yourself, you can do that with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Learn, enhance, grow with Brilliant's ever-expanding set of new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses available to you to help you learn all the things you need to save your world. Each course is designed for high-velocity learning to help you stay focused and reach your goals superhero quick. And Brilliant makes learning like a game, exactly how Deadpool would want to learn something, with fun features to let you challenge yourself and compete with others, possibly Wolverine, so it never gets boring. We also know that when learning is fun and engaging, it just sticks better. You will remember it more easily and more quickly. And if you're wondering about Brilliant's library, they have thousands of lessons. They have math, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science, and many more. And yes, there are new lessons being added every month. I've done their courses on algebra, logic, geometry, and I found all of them really engaging. And if we're gonna do this, just do 15 minutes a day. There's no way that you can tell me you don't have 15 minutes to expand your powers. And out of all of the skills that you should expand, you might as well expand your mind. And if you're still not sure, why don't you just try everything? Yes, everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days. Yes, that still helps my channel, so go ahead and do it, please. Visit brilliant.org/Georgia Dow to check out everything Brilliant has, and if you like it, which you will, you can get 20% off of an annual premium subscription. Just head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Clicking on that button does help my channel, so thank you to brilliant.org and thank you to you. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.